Barcelona.
Yeah, man,
The
United.
Juve.
Video segments, and much, much more. We're also on patreon.com/Benfica Independent with exclusive contents for our patrons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
São de uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quer o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quer um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças, with you as always every week, sometimes on Tuesday, sometimes on Wednesday, sometimes on Thursdays. You know, it's whatever, but here we are. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and for tuning in to us. episode.
Carlos Amaru, bro.
Carlos
funny.
is it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen Carlos on the chat here.
Yeah, Carlos he's been too big.
I know he's in Portugal for a little bit.
Yeah.
But here we are. Episode number 463. Cristiano, como é que é, amigo? Já telefonaste para o Elon Musk to verify you?
It's in the process.
In the process?
It's in the process. He's a little busy right now firing people.
He's a little busy
He said
firing
he'll
people.
get back to me. He's like, it's the next order of business. Is getting verified.
Next order of business, Cristiano,
sir.
the original Cristiano. Let's get
Original pa.
this mofo verified. And up in the Great White North, did you guys plan on wearing the same shirt today, or was it just by accident? Dave de Oliveira.
It's always like this. Me and Cristiano call each other, see what we're going to wear, and we look good, and that's all that really matters.
Dave,
so,
I was just going to say the Oliveras think alike. We're on the same wavelength. You're saying now we're doing combinações. We think alike. They were Oliveiras.
That's true.
It.
You guys have ESPN.
You do. You got a pink shirt. You're formal. Tu és aí o
This is my work clothes.
white collar guys.
I didn't bother changing. I haven't bought this year's jerseys yet, but I will soon. Olio Pegasus.
My boy bought it.
At Pegasus? He bought
No,
the
no,
white
no,
one?
no, no,
They're
no.
already sold out of the
No,
XLs.
No, my boy Pedro just bought Pegasus. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you did tell me that.
Yeah, he did. So, yo, guys, check out Pegasus. Ferry Street in Westfield, I believe.
Pegasus Sporting Goods.
Sporting
Well,
Goods.
you sold both stores, both the Westfield
I'm not
and
sure
the
if I
and the
did. I should
Newark
give the
one?
other guy a shout out too. So, yeah, Pegasus Sporting Goods. Check them out. Pedrocas is a great guy, man, and he's got all your Portuguese gear on hand if you need it. So,
Yeah,
Tell him
ladies.
my name, you get a discount. He'll probably charge you extra, to be honest with you. Yes, kill cabrón.
You guys,
$10
you
on
guys get the ones that have been returned that have like some sweat stains under the armpit or some shit like that. if Cristiano's here. Anyway, here we are, episode number 463. I think I already said that, but a very happy episode, Cristiano.
Yeah, before we go, though, I want to say what's up to Davey, Hen, Ucantinho, my man Mike Gonçalves, what's up, baby? Cesar da Silva, Carlos Amar. Carlos, I was cracking up. Carlos is anxious. I don't know. He must be excited. Benfica must have done something in the last week or so.
You know what it is? It was either watching our show or going to bed. Who wants to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night?
I was just giving Benfica a little,
But it could be that
could be just
and
excited.
here's the I'll give a little bit of insight to the folks. So Tuesday, what happened Tuesday?
I had to go to New York City.
Oh, that's right.
I was in
Tuesday
New
night
York
you were in
York
you,
City.
you went to take your mom to the airport.
New York
JFK.
City. You don't got details.
Yeah.
Dave,
On last night then we were
what
supposed
if I lied to people? You just giving me up.
Hey, don't sugarcoat it. You
This
went to take your
guy.
mom to the airport.
yo.
Like all the pork chops do.
Yeah.
Take their moms to the
Wow.
airport.
JFK.
Yeah, JFK, no less.
Better than
JFK is not
LaGuardia.
even proper New York.
It's Queens. I gotta go to for the first time in our lives. Have you been to LaGuardia?
I don't know if I've ever been to LaGuardia.
Well, we're gonna go Saturday. We're gonna go pick up Vaquero. This mofo booked the ticket to LaGuardia, the worst airport the worst international airport in the United States of America. It's ranked 701, I believe, out of 701. And our brother Vaquero from Benfica FM and all the Expresso and all the great things, one of the biggest Benfiquistas we know, love that dude. He books his ticket, Dave, to LaGuardia. Alfredo asked me, what time does he get in? I said, I don't know. I text. He sends me the itinerary, and I just forwarded it. I didn't even read it. And this guy goes, LaGuardia, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, what? I said, yo.
You thought he was coming in our backyard in Newark.
Yo, Dave.
20 minutes away from the airport we are.
That's up 20. I'm 5.
Yeah, you're right, because you
Dave,
take the back roads and you got a little tunnel.
That LaGuardia airport is a parking lot.
Is it armpit? Is the armpit of airports?
That shit's been under construction for the last 23 years. The
Think it is? Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I
No
went to
way.
New York City.
No way.
Yeah, so
No
yeah,
way, no
so
way. We
back,
gotta get that. No way, no way, no way.
back to this. I know that Bruno sent. I just haven't had the time
Okay,
to
Bruno.
upload
Don't
it.
talk to me about that fake producer. Come, Bruno.
No, so that's that. And then on Wednesday night, Cristiano had
Another emergency.
a little family thing where well, I don't-
Another emergency.
another emergency. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yo.
So we're like, oh, fuck. And here's the thing, right? Had it not been for the games that took place and the fact that Cristiano is really excited about talking about those games, and we know that people want to hear Cristiano's opinion
that's
on
the
those
only part
games.
we don't agree on that. I think people would have been happy to hear you and Dave talk, not me ranting. But that's another
So
conversation.
we were just like, man, we have to do a podcast. Otherwise, Dave and I would have probably gone yesterday for sure.
What would Carlos
we would've
Amado be
knocked it
doing
out.
right now without us? You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's why we had to
So
put it out
we've
there.
been building up all this expectation, so folks are excited
We
to be
hope
here.
we don't let you guys down. Me
Look.
and Dave came in yellow. It's a warning sign, all right? Cuidado.
Hey, Chris talked me off the ledge there. I was heated after Tuesday's match, so I'm glad we're doing this on Thursday, not after Tuesday. Because even after that result, I still had a sour taste in my mouth. How the game ended.
Only
there, but
positive. Only positive.
We'll
Dave.
get into
Only
that, Dave. We'll get into that.
positive Cristiano talked me off the ledge. So
Only
there we
positive.
go.
Only positive
only
things.
positive vibes.
Only positive things. But yeah. So how often do we come on this pod? Not too often because we already discussed it.
I've never came on this podcast.
on-
I've never come.
Before this.
I've never come on this
How often have we come on this pod after a victory against Porto? Not too many times at the Dragão.
At the Dragão.
Twice. 3 times. Isn't that what we figured out last week? That we had beaten
Lima.
Nuno Gomes and then the Taça
No, but
game.
Nuno Gomes, I don't think we were
Yeah,
here.
but were you doing podcasts
no,
with Nuno Gomes?
No, we weren't doing podcasts.
Yeah, that's
with Nuno
true.
Gomes.
So
no,
only once?
No, twice. Nuno
So-
Gomes in 2019.
Can you guys detect
João Felix and Rafa.
Can you guys detect the excitement in our voices? It's a special time. And then on top of it, we beat Juventus at home
We did?
quite convincingly. Not according to Dave. Dave doesn't think we beat him. Quite convincingly.
We beat him, but it should have been a lot more.
Dave, you're just saying that because you have quasi relatives that are Juventus fans, and you really wanted to stick it to them.
Oh, I
You
did want
wanna
to stick
be-
it to them,
you wanna-
and we still
He
stuck it
does.
to them. But
you know what? He does stick it to them.
you wanted to be come into the next family dinner or whatever, get together and puff out your chest
You
and
still
beat your
can.
chest.
You still can.
I still
He's
did.
got the
I
yellow
still did, but I
shirt.
wanted it to be more. It should have been more. Should have never been that close.
Dave, take off your grandma's sweater. Come on.
But Dave,
rock the
Dave,
shirt, bro. Rock
tell everyone that you also own a Juventus shirt. Tell everyone.
Oh.
Don't
I own a Cristiano Ronaldo.
foda-se.
Juventus.
Ainda pior. Ainda
Bro,
pior.
yo,
Ainda
Juventus,
pior.
Dave, you are supporting, when buying that shirt, you were supporting the second most corrupt club in the history of world football.
And that's funny. In a space of a week,
We play
beat-
back-to-back groups.
When I was thinking of a title, right, that did cross my mind, right?
Corrupt
Back-
masterclass.
the corrupt master.
No,
I might change that.
no, you don't do that. No, stop.
Don't want to change it? You think you'll get us in trouble?
The
if we do
corrupt takeover.
masterclass?
Corrupt- yeah, something like that. We'll come up with something.
You know, it's funny because no, never mind. I was gonna
yeah,
do
we're
some.
talking.
I was gonna do a joke, but
Wait, let me get the...
but anyway.
Sorry,
Essa
brother.
merda tá alta pra caralho.
Yeah, no.
Now I gotta work on now that we could switch back and forth to banks and we have more options. I gotta put I'm definitely gonna put no way.
That one needs to be.
No way. No, that's gonna make
I think we should open every podcast with no way. That I think that right there is gonna be it's gonna stay in our memory for forever.
yeah. So awesome. So I guess let's start with the Porto game, right?
Carlos Amado suggests the corruptus slayers.
The corrupt
Tá bom. Já
The
tá
corrupt
melhorando.
slayers. Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah,
Maybe
listen,
by the end of the podcast we'll
it's
come
late.
up with something.
We appreciate everybody tuning in.
Of course.
Love all these crazy Benfiquistas. And even those of you that are not tuning in and listening to this
Right.
today.
Right.
If they're listening to it tomorrow, right now it's today to them, right?
Today, tomorrow,
It's
yesterday.
always today when
it
they
doesn't
listen.
matter.
That's what I'm saying, Dave.
This
So it's today,
podcast-
yeah. So, thank you guys for listening today.
This podcast is timeless.
Leave your comments. Send Alfredo some money to get a yellow shirt so he can match with me and Dave.
I don't want one. I don't want. Yeah, even if somebody gave it to me, I wouldn't wear that yellow
Okay.
jersey. I hate it. I don't.
Taj
I hate it.
Maluk, pa.
I hate it almost as much as you hate the black one,
Which black?
the one that I love.
I don't hate that one. I just don't like it.
I don't like that one.
I
either.
hated that silver one.
Hate
That
is
silver one with the red stripes on
Hate's
the
a
side.
strong word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys could tell by looking at the video that Dave's got the Chinese version one. Cristiano's got the right one.
No, please. I got this straight from the
No,
stadium.
he's just got-
there.
what
This
it
is
is-
that black one that you're talking about there, right? That Chris hates.
Yeah, your chroma key,
Yeah,
is killing it, Dave.
What it is Dave's
Making you
lighting and
invisible.
camera is not as powerful
That's right.
as our Luminix or whatever it's called. here.
Luminix.
4K. We don't
right
even
in
know how
front
to
of you,
work
dude.
it, guys, but it says all this beautiful stuff. But yeah, I think that's the lighting is different. But yeah, he's got the stripes on the. But mine looks like that mustard yellow. I don't even know. Mine looks
Yeah.
like.
So let's I'll give you the lineup and we'll get into it. Vlaco Dimos was in goal, Bas, Silva, Otamendi, and Grimaldo, Tino and Enzo, João Mario, Auschnes, Rafa, and Ramos.
What game is this?
Porto.
But it's the same lineup the next day. Because it just say both.
Yeah, it is the same lineup.
Same lineup.
I don't know what can we say about this Porto game, man. Not much. I mean, it's a win, man.
Bob, what can we say about this Porto game? Look,
Porto was more intense in the first 15 minutes.
Porto definitely came out of the gate with intentions of.
You got the Vlaco Dimos save in the 15th minute, and then I think after that, Benfica balanced the game, and Benfica was able to have a little bit more
I
possession.
think Porto definitely a better side. I think they look. Sergio Conceição was a guy I do not rate, but credit to them. I've always said this. I think I've mentioned this a couple of years ago at Stade de Luz, where they've done a great job scouting Benfica and understanding how they play. In Porto, in terms of pressing high and pinning Benfica in their own end, they did a phenomenal job. Benfica really
Picado's
had.
cracking jokes on you.
Who?
Picado.
Olha o gajo, tá, deve estar a dar leitinho à menina, está a me dar a fralda. É esta hora para estar
Go
acordado.
on, boy, go on.
Sei, Chris parece Poupas, não sei quem é. The Rua Sésamo. What, Sesame
Sesame
Street?
Street.
É pá, Rua Sésamo.
Eu não sei quem é o Popas.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Big Bird?
Yeah, Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Grande Nuno. O que é que eu estava? Os gajos já me fez perder, bro.
Yeah, you were talking about you don't rate Cesar Conceição, but
Cesar. I don't rate that guy at all.
His brother.
we promise we haven't had anything to drink, but
We should.
but yeah, as a typical Porto.
Estava a dizer,
Yeah,
Sérgio
sei lá.
Conceição and their team, their game plan was initially to pin Benfica in their own end, and they did. Benfica had a tough time. I actually criticized.
Yeah, they pressed high.
Yes, they did. And I criticized on Twitter. I said where I don't understand playing arsonist in favor of Neres, who's clearly coming back from an injury, unless he wasn't 100%. But again, once you're on the bench, I always deem you ready to play. So I don't understand why you brought in a guy of arsonist characteristics, and yet you spread him out wide. And I understand you try to give your team width in order to come out of the back because of the Porto pressure, but that obviously did not work out. I didn't understand why he didn't drop a guy like that who's accustomed to playing in the middle to bring him back in, tuck him into the middle, and have another option from Grimaldo, Otamendi, Vlaco Dimos, for these guys, Silva, to come out of the back, because Porto did a phenomenal job of, as I said, of making us very uncomfortable. Benfica could not get any timing right. And look, things started to change. Every single foul started to be a yellow card, and I think that's when the game turned. Vlaco Dimos had that monster save. But if you reverse the videotape on that, I believe in the 5th minute or whatever it was, like, this is the thing that, Dave, I said it the other day, and I'm going to say it again. When there's multiple games, and you said I'd be forgetting, especially when you have an exciting game, as we did on Tuesday.
2 exciting games.
Like, I know, but that Friday game doesn't even matter no more, because Tuesday, a kilo was from a high to a low. You know what I mean? So I forgot. But if my memory serves me correct, in the 5th minute, it was right around the 5th minute against Porto, Vlaco Dimos goes out for a ball, and he tries to punch, I believe, over Taremi or whatever, and he did a horrible job of punching this ball out, and it falls in, and they kind of created some sort of scoring opportunity. This guy, this is his one weakness. You've seen it in the game against Juventus, and I'll get to it a little bit later, and he did it against Porto again a little bit later on in the game. He's just, the guy can't come out for the balls. But, that being said, that might have been the best save I've seen him make at Benfica.
Oh, there it is. Look on the TV.
I don't know. I think that was second half.
That's the one that they called the foul on.
Yeah, that was
Taremi.
late. That was late. No, I'm talking about another one. But that might have been the best save I've seen Vlaco Dimos do at Benfica. Make at Benfica.
The one off the header, the one
Yeah,
in
of
the
course.
15 minutes. Yeah, I think there was it was spectacular, and it was important in the first 15 minutes to be able to hold Porto, because they're trying to they come out with intensity. They try to keep the crowd in the game, and I think the more the more you control the game and the more you come on top of them, you take the crowd, take the crowd out of it. And I thought that Benfica did pretty well after those first 15 minutes. That Porto was very intense, high press. I thought that Benfica balanced the game. I agree with you in one point in terms of Auschwitz, but I think that when you want to keep possession or you want to keep possession away from Porto, perhaps Auschwitz is the guy that you want to keep on the field. He's also a guy that can balance out any mismatches in the middle of the park.
I understand all that. I understand why he played. I get all you're saying, but
it was just his deployment.
Once you come out of the back and you have difficulties, okay, whatever. Come out again, like 3, 4, 5. Like we got to change something, and that's what I'm talking about. When you bring him, and I understand all the reasons you mentioned. And defensively, he balances it all out, and he's going to do a lot of the. And you knew Porto was going to flood the middle of the field, and you needed a guy there to combat, stock you, and them guys in the middle. I get all that. My criticism is when Benfica had the ball in their own third, and they're trying to come out of their own third with the ball, and due to the fact that, as you see with Schmidt, he spreads everybody out wide. He wants as much width as possible, because obviously when the opposition has more territory to cover, it becomes more difficult to cover them. But Porto was doing a phenomenal job of flooding the area. Benfica could not get the ball out. It was put the pepa frente, or we're losing possession. So what I felt is, instead, look, and for those of you watching, you got Arsenal spreading out wide on the left, tuck them into the middle. Now you give somebody else in between them Porto defenders at the time. Obviously, if Benfica's got the ball, Porto defending. You get another body in between. You give someone else a passing lane that you otherwise are not getting because of the width at that time. And I just thought that Roger Schmidt, who's barely pressed the wrong button here, I thought for those initial 20, you saying 15, I'd say a little bit more. It was really until we got the red card. Benfica was coming away with a couple of counterattacks. They were able to move the ball on certain occasions, but for the most part, they were having a really difficult time getting the ball past midfield. And so once Stockyu gets the red card, then it changes things up. But at that point, Benfica was just countering. I didn't see Benfica really keeping possession of the ball, controlling the game, the rhythm of the game. Look, it is what it is. It worked out, but what changed the game was that second yellow on Stockyu. The referee, anybody who come near, anybody who come near Portista at the time, the referee started giving yellow cards to everybody, and it backfired. And both of those fouls were clearly yellow.
It was fair.
And I'll say this:
the second one could have been
straight red. You're right.
And I'll say this: that second one, for all you guys that are Portistas and listening, and for those of you that listen to Benfica podcast, you understand that I have clearly no problem pointing the finger at Benfica when I have to, right? But in this case, man, you got to call a spade, and that second yellow, I don't think you could have complained if he even got a straight red. That was a clear red card offense. You got a second yellow. Look, you live with it. He's out of the game as Benfiquistas. We live with it. But come on. For you to come here and have the balls to complain about
Michael Miranda didn't know where he's saying that he heard it on FM also, but he said no way. So, Michael, just to give you a little bit background where that no way came from, Porto Canal, which is the official, it's not the club channel, but it might as well be a club channel. They had a guy just doing the relatu, so they can't obviously show the video because the video has copyrights for Sport TV. So there's a camera on him, and when Rafa scores that goal, at first people thought it was offside, so he's going, goal to Benfica. He goes like this, goal to Benfica. And then he realized that it might have been offside. He goes, no way, no way, no way,
no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. Like,
yeah, but that's it was.
And then you're like, oh, the other guy's like, he's like.
Yeah, they were going.
Vamos aguentar, vamos ver, vamos esperar, vamos. Because they were hoping that the VAR was blind, like they're accustomed to.
They were going out of their mind. But anyway, the red card in the 27th minute really changed things up. And look, it was fair, it was warranted. Nothing you could say. I think that's just part of the aggressiveness that Porto comes into games against Benfica every single time. Eustachio just happened to be on the wrong side of that play. He was a little bit too aggressive, and maybe if he was Otavio, he would have gotten away with it. But he didn't. That's the fact of the matter. And I think that after that, I think that Benfica playing against 10 men, it's not always easy playing against 10 men, but I think that Benfica then had more of the possession, and over time, they knew that Porto would run out of gas if they had to chase the ball and if they had to chase the possession. But into the half, Porto came out again in the second half strong. But here's the thing, and Cristiano, you heard Cristiano talk about that that Schmidt can do no wrong. And here's the substitutions. Look at these substitutions, and I think that there's a lot to be said about these substitutions. And I think and we've argued this, that maybe a Portuguese coach wouldn't have the cojones to do something like this, right? He takes out João Mario, Enzo, and Ba. Enzo already with a yellow card. João Mario already with a yellow card, if I'm not mistaken. And Bob wasn't really playing all that well. He takes these three guys.
At halftime.
At halftime.
gotta
You take these
verify
out.
that.
Draxler, Neres, and Gilberto came in. And I think that Porto came out in the second half with the intent of getting these guys
But it wasn't just
thrown
the
out.
second half. If you guys recall, go back and watch the second. Once Eustachio gets a second yellow and he gets thrown out of the game. From that point on, I mentioned it before, anytime you come anywhere near a Porto player, they were going to the ground. And there's a lot of people that are trying to bitch and complain and claim that, Ba should have gotten a second yellow late in the first half for an apparent hand to the face of Otavio, and all that. And the one thing that I think, you have to keep in mind is, from the referee stand, I'm not defending the referee, but I'm saying from his standpoint, every time a Porto, as I mentioned, anytime a Benfica player came near Porto, they were just the antics, man. They were exaggerating it because they wanted to get even on the field in terms of men, 10 men aside. And, bro, I think the referee just said, man, this guy's BS in here. You know what I'm saying, Dave? I'm just going to let it play out.
Yeah.
I still have not seen that play, to be brutally honest with you guys. I have not seen that play clearly yet. But I think that's what came into play at the certain time. They tried everything they could to get a second yellow for one of those four guys. And you have to give credit. Dave, I don't recall seeing this, and I've watched a lot of Benfica over the years. I don't recall seeing a coach understanding and doing such a magnificent job, because you can tell once he takes out 3 to 4, it's as if the air was let out of the balloon. It's like, we came in with the plan. Like,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but
Yeah.
what are we going to do now?
And I think that there was a lot of people saying that on Twitter, and I can't take credit for it, that's when Benfica started winning the game. The minute those guys came out, or Porto comes out, and they realized that the guys that they had targeted to get that second yellow and even out things were the guys that were taken out of the game.
And now, look, credit to Arsenis, who's one of the four, the only one with the yellow that stayed in the game, and he was able to keep his composure and still play his hard-nosed football, but at the same time stay away from anything that could be, warranted of a yellow card. So credit to him. Roger Schmidt brings in Draxler, who unfortunately picks up an injury, has to be subbed off, so he has to make an unexpected change that he was not counting on.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I thought that really changed the game, and I don't think it's gotten enough praise, because a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people, we've seen Orelhas on CMTV talking about if he was still around, you choose a Portuguese coach, and a lot of Benfica's like, pode ter que ser gajo português because he understands the league, he understands. I mean,
Yeah, but when you have Luizão and Javi Garcia on your staff.
I don't care who was. Forget Javi Garcia.
No, but Javi Garcia knows the league, dude.
He knows. Luizão tá bem. Agora Javi Garcia.
Javi Garcia sabe as manhas
But
também.
now, that was a stroke of genius, Dave.
Yeah,
When he
it was.
pulls that off, I don't know if a Portuguese coach
No.
would have done that.
No, the Portuguese coach never has the balls to do that.
I don't think
Never.
a Portuguese coach would have done that.
Never. I mean, you literally taking two guys that are focal points of your team and have been part of the success of this team early on. Enzo, especially, clearly has been your best player of the season. I guess you could throw Rafa in there, but clearly one of the most influential. one,
Excuse me, guys.
one of the most influential players on Benfica's or the most influential player on Benfica's team is Enzo. And for him to have the guts and to be able to identify what needed to be done
That was
at
your
halftime.
big off-season
Brilliant.
acquisition. He's
Brilliant.
the guy that controls the game for you. He's the guy that we all anticipated would be, being the maestro over there at the Estadio do Dragão. And, dude, to take him out at the half, I recall saying take Arsenal's João Mario and buy out. Go to my Twitter. I didn't say Enzo because I thought Enzo was going to be the key in the second half and moving the ball. And for him to take him out and leave Arsenal's in, look, it was a stroke of genius. Arsenal showed everybody in that one, if he hadn't already shown everybody prior to that, but he showed everybody in that one game that he's a hell of a player. The dude's a fantastic player. Might not have the big name. I know we spent 15 million.
Polyvalent, Cristiano.
But it's just not that. But he's a smart polyvalent.
He's smart.
There's those guys that just run around with their head, like a chicken with no head. But no, there is some menace behind his madness. You know what I mean? The dude understands what he's doing.
Method behind his madness.
No. A menace. There's a menace.
There's menace behind
There's
his
a menace
method.
behind his madness.
Oh, I never heard it like that.
I make shit up as we go along. But yeah, Benfica did in the first half. I don't understand you wanted to just, hop on to those changes, to those three magnificent substitutions. But at the same time, I think Benfica, even though they still they were up a man, Benfica was able to, for the most part, they created plenty of chances. They had the one earlier before the red card where Rafa, I believe, headers it straight at the goalkeeper. It's the one thing about Rafa. He's always getting himself in a scoring position. Somehow finds a way to just, I don't know, whatever, shank it, miss it, whatever it is. And then Arsenal hits the post. Rafa hits the freaking crossbar with a header.
Yeah.
Benfica did create opportunities, but it wasn't that game that we've been accustomed to where Benfica just takes control of the ball. But look, nonetheless, we did what we had to do, got out of the half.
It was solid.
With the 0-0 draw, understanding that we still have 45 minutes to play, up a man. We know that Estadio Dragão, that anything is possible, right? We've seen ghosts.
Yeah.
We've seen weird things happen. In Halloween right around the corner, Dave, right? We never know what you're going to see over there.
Dave, what do you think in halftime? What do you think about the move, and what do you think about Benfica's chances? Did you think that Benfica against 10 would eventually beat Porto the way we're playing?
I love that move at halftime. We used to speak about Bruno Lage's balls in Istanbul. I think we got to do something about Schmidt's balls in Porto because that takes a lot of guts, and it paid off, right? We all knew that Porto's game plan would have been to trying to even it up and get that second red or a second yellow for one of those three players. And I think Chris already mentioned it about Arsnes playing a solid second half and not picking up another yellow.
Yeah.
I think that right there was a key because it's not like you could make the four subs and get all those guys off, but he was still able to play with a level head and not get a second booking there. I think that really was the key to the match here because it would have been so easy to start the second half and wait till 60th minute, see what we can do with these guys. But by that time, who knows how many of those guys have their second yellow, and it could have even been 10v9 at that point. But though we played with that extra attacker, we didn't really push. We still we still played our game, but didn't push and expose us too much at the back line. And luckily, we got and capitalized on the one opportunity there in the second half. Got the goal and ultimately the 3 points there as well.
Yeah,
we had.
Have you guys heard of how serious this injury with Draxler is? Is it?
Some
I
pulled
haven't
muscle.
heard or read
Seen him in the locker
just a
room
month.
saying that when they were singing the Benfica, looked a little uncomfortable.
who
It's
knows?
muscular.
Who knows?
Look, the good thing is, and if it's the only good thing about this stop of the World Cup being in the middle where it is now, in the middle of the season, in a winter break. Well, not it's going to be a winter break. It's not a winter break. You know what I'm saying? Is the fact
be a
that
break.
now he's going to get about 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Where he could get his body right, and Benfica, I'm pretty sure, going to give him a plan to get his body right, and hopefully, once we kick things back off in December and January, we will see a closer version of what the Draxa that we all expected to see at Stade Luz. I just wanted to read a couple of comments here, Alfredo. We got to get our buddies here from the chat. They're due, obviously they tune in and
Yeah,
so.
Picado had said that Ba is a great attacker, but he got beaten a few times. Yeah, he was getting beaten by
He's not
Galeno.
sure about his defense.
He was getting beat by Galeno many, many, many times. All the attacks were coming towards that through that side.
Galeno and the left back, Zaidu killed him on that one cross where Taremi headed it on goal.
Also, a lot of the Porto fans claim, or Porto supporters claim that Ba could have seen the second yellow card
that before. Yeah.
Right. So I made sense, but yeah, I think that he was getting beaten.
See, Nuno, I'm sitting on the podcast. Remember, I told you about a conversation I had with Buru and somebody else about Ba and talking about he's a great. And I said, look, I like him so far, but obviously, look, there's things he could work on. There's definitely things he could work on. He's got his upsides, but he's also got his negatives. But look, he's young. Yeah. Benfica's winning games, and so you're able to accept, right, or put up with these deficiencies when you're winning, because that's, you understand this guy's coming from a lower league and it's going to take him a little time to develop. He's not a finished product yet. Look, and as long as you're winning, Dave, right, and you're putting up positive results, your patience level is ginormous. Now, if Benfica wasn't having such a terrific start to the season, obviously has not lost a game in the first 20 games played under Roger Schmidt, your tolerance level is through the roof. So, we'll see what happens. But I just want to continue. Says, despite Porto's aggressiveness early on, they created Taremi's header, and that's it. I never felt we were all over the place and just had to weather that early storm. Then we grew into the game.
I know.
Look, we grew into the game because after that, once Porto goes down a man.
We had to weather that storm toward the last 10 minutes too there.
But I think that's But I think that's been our MO also. We kind of grow in a game. We grow with confidence. We start getting possession. We start getting more touches. We start getting those combinations. We start getting those runs. And I think that's been what we've seen throughout the season. I think that maybe with Porto, it came a little later because of the opponent, obviously. But I think that's always been, and Michael is right. They had that one, and then I'm watching this game, and I wasn't that nervous because I have confidence in this team, and I felt that the team was going to be able to put something together and eventually beat them. And it did come. 73rd minute, Rafa with assist from Neres. Bing, bang, boom.
I think Neres messed that pass up, and it kind of went behind Rafa, and I figured because Rafa just a few minutes.
At that point, I thought it was over.
But exactly, me too. But Rafa,
we see it so many times.
Just a few minutes earlier, guys, if you recall, Rafa on another counter, Rafa shot the ball and it went through David Carmo's legs, and it skinned off the inside of his foot, and it went just wide past the goal. Benfica was nothing too dangerous, but Benfica was getting
they were creating.
They were coming on their counterattacks. Porto, to their credit, and this is the only time I'll ever give these guys credit, is despite being down a man, their attitude, man, they never say that. And these guys, this club lives, and they're motivated by their hatred towards Benfica. And you could see the rage in these guys' face, right, in games like this. And look, I get it. They're our rivals. We're not fans of theirs. But that attitude, man, they never forfeit.
Always.
They never concede. They're down a man, and you couldn't tell. There was chunks of that game where you didn't know which team was the one with down a man. And we've seen it. Taça Portugal. They get a man down, they beat us in a Super Taça, whatever the hell it was.
Sometimes it's harder to play against 10 men than 11.
I don't know. I'll always take my chances against them.
The possession is always going to be there. And I mean, I put up the stats. The stats are up. And Benfica finished with 67% of possession. But that's obviously because you always have an extra man. So if you always find that extra man, Porto's always chasing. And that was the thing that I thought, that there was that initial intensity by Porto again, and with the high press in the beginning of the second half. But I thought that Benfica eventually, by moving the ball the way we were moving, we were going to find Porto out and fatigued. So I was really confident about what I was watching. But really, 13 shots for Benfica against 11. Basically 25 against 24 in terms of actions in the opponent's box. Equal in corners. Benfica more efficient in terms of passes, more accurate in terms of passes, even in the vertical passes also. But look, I think that you look at this game, and I thought that if Benfica had won by 2-0, it wouldn't have surprised me.
No, I mean, and they very well could have won 2-0 because when Snets comes in, he starts
Start
causing
shaking
some
things
havoc.
up, yeah.
And then that ball, again, somebody says it here on Twitter. I mean, on the group chat. I said it on Twitter, right? We hear so much about how BTV is biased, this and that. But yet, every time Benfica goes to the dragao, there's only one camera angle. They don't show you replays of any. You remember the one handball, possible handball on Marega off a corner kick a few years ago. The camera, the next day, Sport TV said, our camera system was down. There was only one angle. And now, again, this ball possibly went over the bot line. Maybe it didn't, but we don't know. We didn't see.
We don't know.
But we've never seen replays. We didn't even see it during the game.
We saw one replay from that from the
From the
game
same
angle,
angle.
from the
Same
same
angle.
Dude, in games like this,
The roles were reversed. My God, they'd be
yeah.
screaming.
And look, there's no excuse because in games like this, of this magnitude, of this high media coverage, I even think that whoever's covering in terms of the TV, they have more cameras than they would normally have, just to add to the dimension and of the spectacle and of the game, obviously. So to me, I find that very unbelievable or extremely difficult to believe that they didn't have a goal line camera set up that
Not
we
even,
could
you
have
know what?
seen.
I agree. They should have. I mean, first of all, they should have that Hawkeye stuff that they, you know.
They have the VAR,
No,
but
it's
they
called
don't
the
have
Hawkeye.
the
It's called the Hawkeye
They have
system.
the VAR, but they don't have
The
the
one
Hawkeye.
that they use for the NFL.
Well, they
Not
use
just
they
the
use it in
NFL.
England.
They use it
also.
in England, and it's for those of you that might not be familiar. If you ever
Goal line
watch,
technology.
if you ever watch tennis,
Okay.
if you ever watch tennis,
Yeah.
you know it gives you that virtual look, and the ball go, and it tells you the line. And it shows you if the ball hits on whatever side of the line. If it touches the line, it's the same identical thing, just in soccer. You know, soccer, to football terms. So look, the one thing to me is this, Alfredo. You want to tell me they don't have that? Fine, or even, which is stupid, but even a camera on the goal line, which is asinine. But but what about other cameras? You don't got other replay, other angles. No, I mean other. No, these guys got drone.
When they show goals. They show all kinds of.
I'm gonna
cameras.
repeat this. I'm gonna repeat what I said 3 years ago, whenever it was, when I'm talking about that possible handball in the box by Marega off a penalty that we've never seen a replay ever since. The cameras were down. In the very following week, Benfica goes to Braga, and they got they got a freaking drone on top of Pizzi's head as he's taking a penalty. Like, you get up behind the scene. Like, wait a minute. You don't have a camera.
They get the
It's not a
balls
drone, it's
delivered
that-
by the
that
drone
cable cam.
too.
Yeah,
and
by
the
those what were we talking about
Those
before?
cable cams.
The alien ships. They get the balls delivered by aliens over there at the Jamor, but
yeah.
they can't give you another camera. Come on.
No,
man.
look, I think that there is footage of that. And Carlos, I almost forgot the whole play with Ramos after the goal. How is that
Yeah.
not reviewed? And the referee
Well,
called.
I think Taremi, that's a teammate. That was a great assist. He saved them.
He did. He
saved
pushed
them.
them.
He
So
got
when
the yellow
when
card.
Otavio went to swing, it completely missed it because he was already going forward from Taremi's. Yeah, but that's another thing. Look, if the roles were reversed, you better believe that one of the Benfica players would have gone to the locker room. If I had been a Benfica player to do that to
I don't know, man. Look, I think
Taremi,
one thing
whatever.
we talk so much about pregame, before the game, obviously, about the Super Dragões threatening the referee. Whatever. Look, it took character, it took cojones
Yeah.
for the referee, even in that stadium, in a foul that, as I mentioned before, could have very well been a straight red. It still showed a lot of, big tomatoes to give the guy a second over there, and with all the
Oh,
threats.
dude,
and
but it was
whatever.
so obvious, man.
But how many obvious? We saw Vitor
Oh,
Villa
but you
come out
could-
of the box,
Yeah, but
making a save,
but
and
you
then Benfica's offsides.
But with the VAR, man, you got no excuse with the VAR on that one. That one was it merited a straight red. That second one on Eustáquio.
All right, that's fine. Look, at the end
But
of the day,
I know, but strange things happen when you play.
strange
at the
things
Dragao.
happen after the game. I mean, look, you could just point the finger. There's so many different weird things that go on with that place. From Taremi trying to grab
From
Roger Schmidt, from
Cons-
Roger Schmidt getting hit with a cartão, whatever. I don't know.
Conceição trying to
Yeah.
trip one of
Conceição-
Benfica's technical staff guys.
The one thing
Holy
that
shit,
amazes
man.
me is how the
He
league
got a red card.
the league doesn't go back and punish Sergio Conceição. I understand he didn't trip him, but you have
The intent is
you
there.
have to think of what could have been. The repercussions of, let's just say he would have tripped him. Benfica's trainer would, I think,
Retaliate.
That's setting off a
Dude,
riot.
it's
and
that dude that's
No, no.
freaking Diesel.
But forget that, Alfred. I'm not even
Dude is
talking. It
Diesel.
could have been a 4-foot guy. Doesn't matter. If he retaliates, let's say punches Sergio Conceição in the face, that's gonna set off a riot. You've seen what they did with Sporting, with Benfica. Duplicate, multiply that times 20.
Yeah.
That could have set off a riot in that stadium. That dude has to pay for that. You can't just let him. He could have been inciting a riot. It's just, it is crazy.
He got a red, but he'll be on the bench in the next game.
I don't think he ever got a red. They give
He
it
got
to
a red at the end.
Taremi got a red.
0-0 shows that he got a red.
Oh, they
But
did?
was
So
it
he
after
did?
the game?
Okay, yeah, after
That
the
was
game.
after the game.
Yeah, he called the
But
referee.
it,
Sporting
you know,
police,
it's
so, I mean,
constant. Just just turning your face and ignoring these things. And this guy, every time he loses a game, he's like a rabid dog. He doesn't know how to lose.
But see, here's the thing. This is where I disagree with all you guys. He does the same exact thing when he wins.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He bitches and
No.
complains still. Watch the
Dude, when he beat Bruges yesterday, he was going around giving handshakes to everyone.
Não era em Portugal.
Ah, pois então é isso.
E o gajo estava engasgado
Tava
com as
aqui.
4 batatas que levou no dragão.
Ah,
You
foi.
know what I mean? You still...
Now he was all high and mighty that they were able to get even, and he went around and shook everybody's hand, even o gajo das farturas.
Even the guys is
He
fortuna.
shook his hand.
As long as he ain't messing with the
dude,
be funny guy at Mega Bar, we're good.
This guy is like he's almost above the law. Is the league afraid to punish him or to bring this? And this year they said we're not going to tolerate any aggressive activity on the bench, this and that. We're going to keep that under control. But time and time again, you see this behavior from this fucking Porco.
To me, the most egregious thing was that one attempted trip, because I said it before and I stick to my original thoughts. If the coach gets tripped up, gets up, and he hit, I'm telling you, there are people jumping from the stands.
I believe it.
That could have gotten really ugly. We've seen just recently in Thailand, I don't even know what country, like 300 people
Indonesia.
dying, stomp.
Indonesia.
We've seen these things happening just recently. Bro, think back, guys. If you didn't see it, go back, YouTube it. Sporting at Porto. I'll think you had the ball boys throwing chairs at Sporting players. And look, I don't feel bad for those guys, but things could have really gotten out of hand. And you can't I don't care if that was Roger Schmidt in Sergio Conceição's shoes. I would have said the same thing. You can't allow this to go on, guys. I mean, there is so much stuff that the league punishes teams and players for saying and doing and having a flair. They beat on people. Just this week, the Sportingistas were getting beat up by the cops. Like, everybody gets beat up because they're afraid of potential violence. But yet, these coaches, one particular team, they get away with, I don't want to say murder because that's a strong word, but they get away with everything every single week.
Yeah.
And it's asinine.
No, yeah, something's got to be done.
But do you think that was discussed ahead of the game, that they're gonna try to get you off your game, or
Yes.
even outside of the lines? That, I don't know if this comes from Luizão or Rui Costa, but do you think that they had these discussions that, listen, no matter what happens outside the lines, they're gonna try to provoke us, and we got to just keep a cool level head? Because Continue said when Schmidt gets hit with that cardboard, he just throws the thumbs up, right? He could have easily turned around and try to point out the guy that tried to throw it, right? And then who knows what happens from there, right? So I hope that was the case, and they kind of had a discussion pre-game to have cool heads about it.
Yeah, they have to know that there's extra game factors that come into play at the Dragão, and you have to put a deaf ear to it.
I mean, I think that look, you asked if it was Luizão or Rui Costa. I think from the ropeiros to anybody
Everybody
that's
knows.
been around at Benfica, they know what this is about.
Everybody
The
knows.
play, I mean, from day one, when these guys get to talking about facing Porto in Porto, everybody's like, bro, you're going into an atmosphere that you're not going to see anything anywhere near it in Portugal. Like, you know what I'm saying, Dave? Those are conversations that everybody's having. You know what I mean? The players that have played there, they're telling their teammates, yo, man, yo, you know what I mean? So I don't want to single out anybody. I just think it's a collective. I mean, if you're involved with Benfica, you know what you're going to face once you get into that place.
Yeah. No, look, we all know. We all know. We've been around for a while. We know what happens. Dave.
Michael Madeira just asked a really good question, Dave. Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? I don't. Nunca vi.
It depends. If the short leg is stronger than the long leg.
It says one leg.
Oh, is it only one leg?
One.
Yeah, by some.
It's
I
like
guess
when
it's
you
kind of like when you
paddle
roll your
on the
boat
one side.
gently down the stream.
I'm sure there's one-legged ducks out there, and I'm sure they swim fine. But I know where you're getting to, Michael. Dave, so Benfica with the win, 6 points now on top of Porto. What do you got for stats?
Eustáquio's red card in the 27th minute was the fastest Porto player to be sent off in Porto against Benfica there. So
In the history.
In the history, the fastest sending off for a Porto player in Porto against Benfica. And first time in 8 years that Benfica has beaten Porto in Porto and held them scoreless as well. So some nice positive stats there for us.
Very nice.
Canadians, Dave. Canadians messing it all up for Porto.
Cristiano, do you think that that we were able to erase a little bit of that stigma that we have when we play at the Dragão, especially if we continue under Roger Schmidt?
That's early to tell. Look, it's obviously a great sign. You could tell that the players were up for this game. They've ignored all that noise. And look, anytime Benfica gets a positive result there, right? It's something that we should praise. But to sit here and tell you, have they erased some demons and, are they over this? Oh, no, I think it's too early to tell.
Yeah, but certainly it was a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that with all the intimidation and everything extra game, I think that the team performed admirably. I thought that the team behaved in a very professional manner. And look, we just did our job and we were able to pull it away. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, look, it wasn't in terms of style and grace. That's a Biggie song, by the way, guys. Allow me to lace these lyrics. No. But in terms of style and grace, it wasn't. It's not going to get high marks. But at the end of the day, the important thing going into Stadio Dragão, we all understand, it's about walking away with the most points you could possibly get, with a victory, obviously. But a lot of times, like last year, we saw where the team celebrated a draw because we were happy that we matched their intensity. So I think this is a very positive sign. Roger Schmidt understood, and the rest of the boys understood that we have a job to do. It doesn't matter how we do it, but to just get out of here with, at the very least, a draw. And if we get 3 points, even better, because now we put these guys at a bigger disadvantage. And that's exactly what they did. They sent a message. It seems like this team has some guts to them, some balls to them. You got a coach who definitely, without any stretch of an imagination, he has an idea, he has a concept, he has an understanding of what goes on in Portugal. That, and I'll go back and say it, that those 3 substitutions at half was a stroke of genius.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone. Look, we're huge Benfiquistas, and I know I was on Twitter saying, take out these 3. I didn't think it was going to take. And then on top of it, to take out Enzo, bro.
Yeah.
Like, credit to Roger Schmidt. I'm not sure many of the coaches, at least the guys that have come through Benfica, right? I'm not sure many of the coaches would have had the same thought process and would have had the balls and the courage to do what he did on the road.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good, and you also had the fact that Porto said, well, if we beat them, we basically tie them in points. We're at the same level, and then we're even putting in more pressure on them.
Picado was saying, Nuno Picado, Benfica FM, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying up and feeding your daughter at this time, Picado. He's saying the stigma is at our own stadium. Our results at the Draganário are not that bad. So in terms of, look, going to the Dragão, I agree with him.
It has more importance in our stadium. I think it's more impactful because it's more expected.
Bro, you got to defend your own turf.
Right. It's more acceptable to give up points at the Dragão than it is at the Luz, and we've done a very poor job at the Luz.
Look, let's be fair. We've done a poor job at both.
You're right.
That's true.
We've done a poor. I mean, as we talk now, it's what, the 4th victory since 2000. Yeah. So it's. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna win 4 out of 20, right? Let it be on the road. It can't be at home. And the numbers are at home. I don't know them, Dave. I don't know if you have enough time to look them up real quick. But the numbers at home, they're abysmal. And we've seen these guys, they even mock us. They go out of their way to say, "Stai de loser, no salão das festas." Like, that goes to show you that at home, we have not done what we're supposed to do. And I think, we should always defend our turf.
All right, let's shift gears here to the next game, Juventus game. And I'm actually going to let Dave, well, we're frozen on there. But let me fix this real quick. Peraí. Fala aí bocadinho, Cristiano.
Queres que eu diga, pá? You just said let Dave talk. Dave could talk while nobody, to fix the picture, you don't need to see our face. Dave's not frozen. You want to talk, Dave, or I'll go? I'll make it quick.
What are we talking about?
I'll make it quick. Benfica had an opportunity within 72 hours. Was it 72? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. 48, 70.
Saturday.
A little bit more than 72.
Sunday.
A little bit more. Benfica had an opportunity within 72 hours, a little bit more than 70, to smack another corrupto. That's exactly what they did. That might have been, guys, pay attention. Pay attention. I'm an old soul. I'm
an old soul.
I don't know, soul is just whatever. Sou velhote. That might have been the best game.
Okay.
That might have been the best game I've seen. Well, let me rephrase. That might have been the best 75 minutes I've ever seen Benfica play in the Champions League, and especially in this new format, without a shadow of a doubt.
Dave only watched the last 25 minutes because ask him how he feels about that game.
No.
15,
Chris is
That's
right
15.
there. The first 75 was a masterclass. If the finishing was better, 10 out of 10 performance.
We
there.
look like the Harlem Globetrotters.
It looked like it. At one point, we were dinking and dunking there.
But
but,
Rafa, Rafa looks so good. Fernand Santos couldn't even come up with an excuse not to call him up this time. But he obviously didn't want to go.
He smoked all his cigarettes. Thinking about Rafa.
Him and Rui Costa, bro, they smoked 2 packs each.
The lineup was pretty much the same, but I mean,
Not pretty much, bro. It
was
was
the same. I think look, there's something to be said about how Benfica has performed this season in Champions League, and regardless of what my people say, oh, worst Juventus in the past 20 years, and worst PSG in the past 20, regardless, the level of performances that the team has had in this Champions League this year is something that leaves everyone very proud.
How?
Especially us that live outside of Portugal, that have conversations with our workmates or friends that
We know the United States is a melting pot. And
follow
we,
the Champions
exactly,
League,
yeah.
right? So Benfica has always been looked at, oh, they're a minnow, they're somebody that everybody gets beats on. But this year, Benfica has commanded a lot of respect from the entire.
But we can't get on those people. Our own players at the airport say, it's a trampoline. I mean,
It's a trampoline.
Let's not forget. But listen, that was a falada. Yeah, listen, in terms of da conversa, são fortes, são fracos, são grandes, são pequenos, papapá. Bro, at the end of the day, I say this about the New York Giants, who are 6-1 in the NFL. You can only beat who's put in front of you. What do you want Benfica to do? Play Manchester City? They're not our group.
You want to take a player out to make things more even?
Yeah, we did. I thought Benfica showed a great lack of respect towards Juventus, because if you look at this one game and everything went perfect except one thing, we didn't play with a striker.
I disagree with you.
Gonzalo Ramos played.
Gonzalo Ramos does a lot of work. But here's the thing.
You sound like a Man United fan right now.
Listen.
Ronaldo scored 26 goals, but he doesn't press.
Listen. I'm going to tell you this, and you're on that chat. We were talking with Steve Santos today in the chat.
Gotta get Steve on the
about it,
podcast.
and we were
That's not
talking
being
about
lazy.
the Felix coming. And Steve is not the biggest fan of Gonzalo Ramos either, and neither am I. But you have to know, or you can't blind it to the fact that Gonzalo Ramos does a lot of work to benefit the team, whether it's dragging guys out of position. But the problem that I have with Gonzalo Ramos is that he needs to be more prolific in terms of a striker. It can't all be just we have a forward that all he does is drag guys out, presses, does this and does that. A forward has to score goals. But I wouldn't say that he was non-existent. You saying that he was non-existent. I can't say that. I can't say that he was non-existent.
Look, man, when Dave, I'm in the Football Manager Hall of Fame. All right? When I field my starting 11 in Football Manager and I put my striker up there, my striker's job is to score goals. That's at the end of the day, that's how I'm going to grade him. And Gonzalo Ramos, look, he does a lot of great work off the ball. No one's going to deny that, man. We watched that. We understand it. I understand what he adds to the team, and it's all fine and dandy. But I need something else. I need some substance in the opposition's box. I need you to be around the ball. I need you to attempt something on goal. I need you to look like you're a threat. Like, opa, gajo passa, like Rafa. Fecha os olhos. Grande goal, bro. I'm telling you, Rafa was a machine. You know what I mean? I want you to be some type of presence on the offense. And I get it. He's making runs and he's Alfredo, we get all that. But come on, bro. We need a striker to score goals. I don't need a striker to drag defenders.
And
we chased my boy to Turkey over there. He might have missed 10
Dave, what's
10
he doing? How many
sitters
goals
in
has
this game.
How many goals has Seferovic scored this year?
Let me
Go
see
look
if
that
I
up
can get that
while
up
we
here.
talk here. Yeah,
Where's Fedovic at? Galatasaray, right?
Yeah.
Him and
yeah.
Icardi. But Icardi keeps going home on vacation looking for his wife's wife or whatever.
No, we
He's only got 2 goals this season.
2 goals, so he's doing well.
One actually only one.
He's doing. That's what
One
he did at
for
Benfica.
Galatasaray, one for the Swiss national
Nuts.
national team.
Gonzalo Ramos is in
Consistency.
in double digits.
Who double digits?
Gonzalo Ramos
But
is double digits.
he's coming
No,
on
he's
as
not.
a sub.
Gonzalo
He's a
Ramos
super
is double
sub for
digits.
He's got
Galatasaray.
5 in the league, and that's it.
Dave, check to see how many goals Gonzalo Ramos has this season.
It's got to be less than 10.
He's double digits.
less than- it's
He's
less than
double
10.
digits.
That's what
It's
I'm
3.
No, he's got
No,
5 in
Dave.
the
Oh
league.
no, it's 10. It's 10. 3
He's got
assists.
10?
Sorry.
He's got
10,
5 in the
and
league,
he's got
right?
10.
5 in
But-
the league.
6 in the league, 4 in
Oh,
the
6
in the qualification stages.
Ah, mas isso não conta, mas tô falando na liga.
Não conta, olha, não conta.
Falando na
Não
liga,
conta como o
pá.
jogo da Taça de Portugal no Dragão.
Isso não contam, pá.
Anyway, but as a result of us playing well, 1-0 early on, 17 minutes, then Juventus responded to it, and they were able to get the equalizer. But then after that, it was all Benfica. João Mario, 28th minute.
Was that a
PK.
penalty?
I don't know.
We're gonna
but
skip over the fact that Vlaco can't grab the ball and
Yeah,
secure that
exactly.
ball there
Dave,
on that goal.
let's not beat a dead horse. How many times have we talked about Vlaco not holding on to the
I was
ball?
gonna get to it. I was gonna add 'cause
Again?
He did it in the second half again.
Oh yeah, well
And
we
that
already
third
know.
goal. That third goal. Come, this dude don't grab nothing.
Here's the thing.
And then the one thing, even when the referee blows a play offside and he comes out the case, still drops it. Like,
Are you? Yeah. Are you, Chris? Let me ask you this: are you willing
Butterfingers?
to kind of look away from that aspect of his game when the man is world class in between the pipes?
World who?
No.
Flaco Dimas.
Peraí, eu meti água no aguardente nessa garrafa, bro. Yo, let me chill. World what?
He's world class between the pipes.
Epa, não digas isso ao lado, bro.
He's not world class. He's not world class between the pipes.
Alfred, don't say that out.
You don't think he is?
World class. Estás fodido de cabeça.
He's not world class between the pipes.
World class reflection or reflexes.
Yeah, he's got world class reflexes. He ain't world class between the pipes. World class. Epa, estás maluco.
I think he's an extremely good goalie between the pipes.
Ay, Jesus. He's a
I
good
think he
goalie.
is.
He's a good goalie, bro.
I think he has
Look,
really
look.
good
Why, if
reflexes.
He
he
is-
was that good, why having a shark come around?
He's
and
not a
pick him up?
Benfica caliber goal. Now I'll say this. I'll be frank here. Yo, Sila o nosso maior problema. We're doing good. I'll get that, but he doesn't catch the ball. Doesn't play relatively well with his feet. There's a lot of things there.
I didn't say that. I said in between the pipes.
No, he's got reflexes. That's it. He's not good at it. He's terrible at coming out. He's terrible at coming out for the ball. Every time he comes out for the ball, it's a goal or a red card or something. I don't know.
in
It's
between
never
the
good.
pipes, Chris.
Between the tu é que andas com pipes. Deixa-me em paz. Stop it. Listen.
On the goal line,
Here's the
he's
thing.
excellent.
Here's the thing. For years now, I've been coming out here and warning.
And I don't disagree with
And
you.
he's done it in the Supertaça when he got a red. Then Elton, I think, wanted to follow Q. I think he got a red too, or he screwed up and he gave up a goal.
Yeah.
I guess they teach that at the Cascais. Well, not Cascais. What is it? Seixal. It was close, but
Not
It is
even
close.
close.
It's closer than we are. The thing is this: I'm just fearful. At some point, it's going to come. And it did. It bit you against Juventus. But obviously, Benfica still pulled off the result. Bro, that's my fear. That's my fear that it's going to cost us at some point, Dave. And people don't just, he's world class. Epa, Sakila world class, Alfredo. Yo, you're
world class between the pipes. That's all I said. Look, there he is. There's making a save of his life, punching the ball.
He looked like Rocky 5 because he's all old. Rocky 6.
And Gonçalo Ramos is saying, "Why don't you grab the ball?"
Gosh, Malula, opa, agarra essa Gonçalo Ramos. How am I gonna score? Olha aqui, eu tô aqui, yo.
Look,
Red LeBaron says,
look, I punched it out. There it is. The ball is away from the goal.
It's corner kick. Yo, Red LeBaron says, are Benfiquistas ever happy? Isn't he the top scorer in the league? I guess he's referring to
He is.
But I think it's Rafa. Isn't it Rafa?
No, Gonçalo Ramos is the top.
So then I got them mixed up. The 6 and the 5. I knew one of them at 5.
Gonçalo Ramos is the top scorer of the league, I think.
Sink.
Dave could check.
Relax. Says, this is Ramos' first year as a consistent starter. People said the same thing last year about Darwin at Benfica. Samuel Suarez will be a fantastic replacement. I could tell this guy must be from Lisbon and he goes to all the Seychelles games.
Ooh, sync and relax.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we don't know. I don't know enough.
I actually think the kid in the B team is better than Samu.
Who's the kid in the B team?
The kid that played the final, the youth league final.
Santos.
Moreira, I think.
Santos. Nuno Moreira, something like that.
Something like that.
Whatever. The young kid. Yeah, but he's young, though.
He's very young.
Very young.
He's very young.
Yeah. I know. I do hear good things about Samuel Suarez, but to tell you the truth, we're not here to talk about Samuel Suarez. We're here to talk about the game against Juventus.
Yeah.
And Benfica created a chance after bro.
Masterclass.
You came in there with a pau murcho, you left with a pau duro. They played phenomenal football. Rafa looked like a world beater. João Mario's that dude's looking great.
You went to the game and you come out of the game and the camping team was outside ready to recruit you because you had the tent up.
You had all the poles up.
You had the poles up.
Oh, the kid's Gomes. They're saying Gomes. It's not even.
Gomes,
it's not
yes.
Moreira or Santos. Whatever. It's Gomes. It's close. El Primo, André Gomes.
No, and here's the thing. Cristiano and I are a little older than some of you guys, and Cristiano and I obviously remember the Benficas at the old Estádio da Luz, the Inferno da Luz, and that's the type of performances that we were used to seeing.
Man,
Benfica
the stadium,
in Europe.
the stadium was alive.
The stadium,
the atmosphere was
the
brilliant.
team not afraid.
The choreography, because Hugo Ferreira's pau was at a 10 with the choreography.
Foda-se, é isso que ele dá valor.
Yeah, ele dá valor a isso. O gajo não percebe da bola. Ele dá valor a isso. Bro, the team just play. Benfica just.
I thought it was excellent.
They put together a complete game. You know, they give up that one goal to equalize. Benfica took an early lead on Rafa. Was it Rafa? Right? Rafa's goal. First goal of the game. And then...
No,
Antonio Silva.
Antonio Silva, yes. The Enzo... it's been so long.
The Enzo...
Enzo cross into the box, and Silva gets 18-year-old scoring the Champions League, gets his first goal. First goal, right?
He had been threatening.
Yeah,
he had been threatening.
He scored, that's right, to give Benfica the lead. Then they come the other way. They equalize. And then just a couple minutes later... João Mário steps up, bangs it up.
Yeah, you were asking me about the PK.
Yes.
And I have to say, I mean, there is a handball, but I think that because it's so close, it could have gone either way. The handball for Benfica's PK.
I think it was kind of.
No,
weak.
I'm talking about Juve's. I'm talking about Benfica, Juve's PK. Now, that Benfica, to me, Cuadrado, that's a handball. Look, I've always said, go back and roll the tape on a pocket.
Yeah, but it's close range, man.
Go back and roll the tape on a pocket. The ball touches your hand in the box. There is no...
It could have gone either way. It could have gone either way. I was watching... the feed that I was watching was a... What was the feed that I was watching? The Paramount.
Yeah, of course. But those guys are... Come on. Those dudes, all they... the big teams around Europe. Stop. Listen, but no, João Mário then Benfica. That to me is a penalty. I was talking about the penalty that Benfica committed, the foul that Benfica, in order for Juventus to tie the game at 1. That's the foul I was talking about. You remember?
No,
me neither. That's what I was hoping you told.
Was that for PK?
It was a PK.
No. It was a corner,
PK, dude.
It was either a corner or a free kick in that corner, but
no, it wasn't a PK.
It was a swinger.
Yeah, it wasn't a PK. But anyway, Then in the 35th minute, that beauty by Rafa, the classic heel goal on a driven pass along the grass and just with the heel, that was perfect.
From the right side.
Perfect. Yeah, but
He scores that one, but he misses like
but
three.
yeah,
other
yes,
clear
that one play that he's combining with Auschnitz.
Yeah, and then he goes for the Trivela.
And then he goes for the Trivela, and it just goes. It went out the sideline almost the way the ball was going.
Yeah.
But look, I think that if you're a Benfiquista, you're extremely proud of how the team performed and how the team has performed throughout this campaign. And regardless how far we're going, I think the whole attitude and demeanor of the team, where you go into these games and you could care less of who the opponent is on the other side, that even though you respect them, you don't fear them.
Juve's equalizer was off a corner, Vlahovic, and that could have been offsides. It wasn't offsides. I don't understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
But
Grimaldo was
Vlahovic
putting
got
them
to it.
on.
Yes.
I
I don't know why the hell. Eu estou lixado, bro.
Estás a confundir as coisas, pá.
Eu tô...
És troca-tintas.
I know, look, Red Baron said, yo, estás a ver o jogo. O Hugo diz, puta que pariu. Listen, dude, I don't know. You know me, my mind is everywhere. But yeah, I could have, I don't know.
Ficaste paneleiro dos olhos, diz o Hugo.
Não sei.
No, dude, look,
I,
look, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm going to let Dave speak a little bit because he was a little bit upset as we came on the podcast about this game. But like I said,
that was on Tuesday. Time heals all wounds. I'm
yeah,
okay.
and Dave
now,
said it was
but-
a good thing we didn't do the podcast on Tuesday because I was really angry. And then on Wednesday it subsided, and today I've completely forgotten. But Dave, let us know your feelings about the game.
I think the 4-3 scoreline is just unjust,
Yeah.
the complete domination that we had
Agreed.
over Juve, right? So from somebody who doesn't watch this game, they look at the scoreline and say, it must have been a good match, and Juve fought till the end. But really, they did not. That 7-2 scoreline that PSG put over Maccabi, that's really what should have been this scoreline of
Epa.
this match.
You're right. You're right.
Rafa himself should have had 5. Easily 5 goals.
and you could tell they were
scored.
trying to get him the ball, Dave. The teammates were trying to get him the ball there at a
Yeah.
certain point.
Easily.
And what hurts, I think I tweeted it after the match, is this letting those 2 goals there in at the end. That kind of puts a damper in our chances to get that top qualification spot out of as the group winners, right? Because now we have to either make up the 4 goals or because PSG has a 4-goal difference on us. Can Juve go and steal some points from PSG? Possibly, but I wouldn't hold our breaths on that, the way this Juve has been this year. And Maccabi is not a walk in the park either. They play strong, they play organized,
And they're still alive, Dave.
They're still alive.
and
for
I-
this
Still
yeah,
alive.
exactly.
They're
They're
depending
still
on
alive.
Juventus'
So
result.
if Juve slips up, Maccabi's gonna try to go for it full press to get at least a point to qualify for Europa League, right? So I think I was just disappointed on how that game ended so poorly for us, where we had that in the bag, and I think the scoreline itself was just unjust on the performance from the team for 75 minutes.
I don't disagree. I thought that we played extremely well. I just think that it was maybe a lack of concentration. But here's what I think. As I see as the cause. I think that Schmidt touched the team too late.
Stop. You sound like Hugo. Stop.
No, because look, dude, he didn't make.
Might as well
he didn't make
Hugo
substitutions
back
until the
on. Please
80th
bring him
minute,
back.
man.
I'm gonna tell you what I told Hugo.
But he didn't make substitutions until the 80th minute.
I'm gonna tell you what I told Hugo that on Wednesday.
Valatis lá.
I mean, when your options are fucking Chiquinho,
It doesn't matter.
Oh my God,
come
when
on,
I saw
stop.
Doesn't
Chiquinho
matter,
come
man.
off,
You
jeez.
That's what happened. Once these guys come in, the
No, but
intensity went down.
Chiquinho didn't come in until 90
Chiquinho
plus.
was like no, but
Gilberto came in for Ma.
the point I'm
Alfredo. Musa came in for Ramos.
Yes.
Neres came, Rafa, and Neres came in for
what I
Ramos.
meant to say is this. Pay attention. When your options are Musa,
Neres and Gilberto.
Neres is nice. Neres is, but
Gilberto.
when your option is Musa,
Refresh the team.
Diogo Gonçalves.
We were up 4-1.
Chiquinho.
You don't need options. You need to refresh the team. Keep
Bro,
the team
you-
The
fresh.
boy from
Do you understand
Gafanha.
that those guys, they're salary?
Não importa, pá.
It's like, yo,
You need fresh legs.
they fazem damage aos olhos, bro. And Raj Schmidt didn't want to
Fazem
see those
damage
guys.
aos olhos.
Raj Schmidt didn't want to see those guys. He's like, yo, that shit makes my eyes hurt.
Fazem damage aos olhos. No, dude.
No,
you
that's
gotta,
yes.
you gotta, you got Neres, you got Gilberto. Those two gotta go in to refresh. And I don't even mind Musa going in for Rafa. For Ramos, right? Because we're up 4-1. Just hold it, And then we give up two goals in the space of 2 minutes. Then we finally make the substitutions in the 81st minute. Those are the first substitutions.
Dude, I understand.
that
Dude,
we
I'm
made.
with you guys, but I'm gonna go back. Aside from Neres
understand.
and maybe Gilberto,
The most
the rest of it is it's
But listen, I'm going to tell you something. The most deflating thing about watching this game was seeing Chiquinho make his way to the
Yeah.
field in the 90
That's when I
plus.
thought everything was gonna collapse. That's when I thought it was gonna be 4-4. I said, "Holy shit!"
And now you guys,
This was what it
understand
was.
why
No, I
Cristiano
understand.
Ronaldo didn't want to come in for United.
É, pá, lá
It's
vais tu com o
embarrassing,
Cristiano
bro.
Ronaldo outra vez, pá. Deixa o Cristiano Ronaldo, pá. Foda-se.
They in the 90th minute. That should happen to me at Giant Stadium, bro. But I was an amateur.
Boris agrees with me. The substitution should have been early. I
Alfred,
get it, man.
I just-
Refresh. You're up 4-1. Refresh the team. Keep the team playing at the same level with the same rhythm, and you see out the game.
I agree. I agree. But I'm gonna stick to my guns. When
you
you're
just
looking
don't like
down
seeing
that,
those guys.
when you're looking down that bench, you're like, yeah.
It would have been worse if it was Gil Diaz or Andre Almeida.
Don't disrespect my neighbor. Disrespect my neighbor. He's from my hometown.
No, I just thought that he took too long. That he could have done probably mid-60s. He could have done that substitution.
And especially once you go up 4-1,
And
then I agree, freshen up the team. At
And-
least
and-
Vine and Gilberto for
and-
sure.
and,
But everybody else, leave them at home.
when did Allegri make those two changes?
when he
Those two
did
guys really that
the
made the
70th.
difference. Elling Jr.
Then bringing in that Samuel Illing.
That Illing is
that
an
guy was
ill
eating
player.
He is nasty.
Yeah, nice.
He is nasty.
Fantastic.
And Milic, was it Milic that he brought also?
Milik.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
scored a third goal.
Right.
Milik.
He brought those two guys in the 70th minute, and those
Third or
guys
second. He scored one of the goals. I
were
think it
able
was the second.
to give him a little bit of hope towards the end. But I do think that he could have done
No,
late
for sure.
60s.
I'm messing around about but look, I get it. He should have. So at least Gilberto for sure and Neres, I think. But again, I can't blame when he's looking at the other eye. I mean, anybody that thinks Musa gives, especially Champions League, come on, man, por amor de Deus. Por
Yeah.
amor de Deus.
I get it, Christian.
It's
I
a
get it.
showcase. Remember how we used to treat these?
So anyway, with the win, we do qualify for the round of 16. So the Maccabi game will not be important in terms of it will be important because we want to get top spot, I guess. But I don't know.
Guess?
Do you see him? Do you see him rotating some players?
Who? Maccabi?
No, Schmidt.
Oh, Schmidt. Look, Enzo Perez is gonna miss because of yellow card situation. He got a
right.
yellow.
That's right.
Do I think he's gonna rotate? I said it to you a minute ago. I'm gonna stick to it. What options does he have, bro? I mean, look, Neres might get back in the starting lineup, but I don't see any of them other guys, Musa, Diogo Gonçalves, and Chiquinho getting in there unless someone picks up an injury here on the weekend and he's forced to make some subs. But at the end of the day, I think it's still an important game. Benfica will love to come out of this in first place. Paris Saint-Germain on paper should beat Juventus, but Juventus is going to play for their European lives, right? Allegri, you have to think, right?
Is it
that
Allegri or Sadi?
You'd have to. He's definitely been. He left the side of the loose, Sadie. You'd like to think that this guy is under all types of pressure, and he'd like to, at the very least, stay in the European competition and go back down to the Europa League. Maccabi? He's going to be thinking the same thing. Like, yo, we get a result against Benfica. Juventus is playing Paris Saint-Germain, so if we do our job and we beat Benfica at home, we might see ourselves make it through to the next, at least stay alive in the Europa League. So, I mean, there's still a lot to play for. PSG wants to get out in first.
They're gonna beat him so they could stick it up Kanye's ass.
People might not get that reference, but
No,
I didn't
Cristiano
get it funny.
didn't get it.
Who you said they're gonna beat him? Who's they?
Maccabi.
Who's gonna beat Benfica?
Maccabi.
So wait, you're saying on the Benfica podcast that Maccabi's gonna beat Benfica because
Maybe.
of Kanye?
I don't know. I just wanted to make the joke. I wasn't even thinking. It's not a very well constructed
I would
joke.
love to send Juventus straight out of not even give them the opportunity
Dave
for
doesn't hear
Europa
this.
League.
Yeah, he hears it. Dave, you
hears
hear the sounds, right?
I heard it. I
Oh, you
heard
heard
it.
it.
I
I'm sorry,
heard it.
Dave. I'm sorry.
You just went on top of him.
What?
Anyway,
I
Dave.
still say Luis Felipe de Rua. Yo, Dave, Boris, internet must be worse than the one in Canada. Where the hell? I mean, yo, he's been gone.
Dave, stats on this game
He's back with the
could
light.
start closing this up.
First time in Benfica's history that they scored 4 goals against an Italian opposition. Rafa this season through 18 games has 9 goals and 4 assists. And for only the 7th time in Benfica's history have they gone unbeaten through their first 20 matches of the season. The club record is 31 games to open a season without a loss, which is occurred in 1959 and 60 season.
What was Ericsson's?
That was just the
Domestic?
straight wins.
Straight wins to start the season.
Yeah.
Straight wins.
Hey,
And
Alfredo,
this is
good news.
unbeaten.
One of the guys in the chat aligned with your joke. I guess he got it. See, yeah, and they're gonna burn the Yeezys outside the stadium after. So yeah, I guess. Only see arson in Zenzo position and edits the ordinance unless someone is in yellow away from suspension or they wiped out.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think that Benfica will go for that top spot. As we know that
I think so too.
Roger Schmidt rarely rotates.
Benfica is 6-1-1, I believe, in all time against Juventus in European competition.
Yeah, they have a very good
Yeah.
record against Juventus.
Yeah, we've done well against them. I mean, you know.
All right,
Like
next
to
up,
see them every single year.
Keys. Saturday game, right, Dave? Against Keys.
Saturday game, it's in Lisbon, so not up north there, but historically 28 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses. The last 10, 9 wins, 1 draw. The draw came in September of 2018. Chaves returned to the first division this season after beating Moreirense in the playoff last season, and currently they're in 10th with 15 points from 4 wins, 3
That's
draws,
pretty
3
decent. They
losses.
They play well.
It's pretty decent.
They've beaten
For a
beaten
team-
Sporting in Braga this year
Yeah,
away
they-
from Chaves too. So
For a team
not
that,
a team to be taken lightly.
right, for a team that just got promoted, I mean, 10th place is respectable. I know it's early in the season, but still, it's usually it's a huge jump, especially because a lot of guys are still the guys from last season that played in the second league. But they've been doing good.
Yeah, they're
Doing
doing
good.
well. They're
They've,
doing well.
they've got that anchor in the back there, Steven Vittoria. That's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's
He's over at Chaves now.
he's there.
Dude's
Yeah.
the PK
Was he was
taker.
over at Moreirense before?
He loves it
Yeah,
up north,
yeah.
bro. He's just staying up north. He's got a house up there already, so he's just.
Mr.
Yeah, that's set
Mr.
piece
Colgate?
specialist. That's the set piece
That's right,
specialist, bro.
Mr. Colgate.
Neil, shout out to Neil. Neil's his biggest fan. He thinks he's better than Ruben Diaz and everybody else. But
Of
that's
course
a
he
conversation
is.
for another day. But yeah, look, I think as I often say, these teams are pesky teams. They're gonna make life miserable for the big opposition. But you know, if it was on the road, I'd be a little bit more preoccupied. Playing at
Yeah.
home, I think Benfica should handle their business. They're riding a high right now.
Yeah.
And under Roger Ballman, and Roger's just been such a breath of fresh air. The guy is you know, giving all praise to his players. And I tell you guys, I'm gonna admit something on the podcast that I shouldn't even say it out loud, but when Jorge Jesus came back to Benfica, I was ecstatic. For those of you that remember,
Again with this conversation?
no, but I'm just saying, like, this is what we're
Is he
seeing.
in studio?
What we're seeing on the Roger
He's here
Schmidt,
somewhere.
this beautiful ball movement and beautiful football and smacking everybody around, right? This is what I expected before. So credit to Roger Schmidt. He's been phenomenal. He's always saying the right things, and it's just, man, was
Think it
I
is?
wrong about that?
Ah, okay.
How many, like, I'm gonna read the comments, man. Forget you guys. Sync relaxes. How many players should Benfica bring in January? 48.
I got to be honest with you guys.
At least 2.
I was a little bit worried in terms of Enzo, who's going to replace Enzo, because we this has been a good year, but without continuity, I think that everything is for nothing, right? So I think that my biggest fear was, like, I know that we're going to lose Enzo at the end of the season,
Hey, but tu já estás lá.
but who do we have lined up to play in that position? And I think from what I've seen from Auschwitz, and it's a different player, but it's a player that could play in that position. Perhaps not as influential, not as dominating the rhythm of play and dictating the rhythm of play, but certainly a guy that can play in that 8 position. I was a little bit worried, but now I'm left a little bit more confident in terms of what the succession plan is going to be for Enzo.
Different players. But I agree. Auschwitz is a guy that could obviously slot into the middle of the field and Benfica be very well served. But you don't replace a guy like Enzo with a like for like.
No.
There's very few of those guys.
No.
But
special.
when the time does come, Benfica will get a nice paycheck. And I'm pretty sure, look, give credit to these guys. I talked to Hugo about this just earlier this week. Aside from João Vitor, everybody that came in the off season, right? From Neres, even Musa, I guess it's just Taça of the Liga, but even Musa has shown moments. Arsene has been a hell of a signing. Ba's been a hell of a signing.
Yeah.
I mentioned that already. Enzo, these guys have gotten, with the exception of João Vitor, who was injured, and now he's back being healthy now, so we're going to really see what we got in him. But every single contratação that Benfica made this offseason has been a hit, with the exception of João Vitor so far. So
I agree with you.
What I was mentioning that just to lead to my next point, which is when the time does come to replace Enzo to whomever it is that Benfica will replace, because we know there's always turnover at the end of the season at every club. Doesn't matter the club.
Yep.
I have confidence in these guys, in this group of guys that are currently scouting, that are currently identifying. And I think a lot of this, and I told you this on a conversation off air one time. I forget his name. Lourenço Coelho, I think that's his name.
Yes.
He's back. And he's the guy.
Don't forget Rui Pedro Braz.
The guy that's getting all the hype is Rui Pedro Braz.
But yeah, because he's the face.
But
Lourenço Coelho
is the one telling him who to go get.
He's the one that works
Lourenço
in the
Coelho,
background.
for those of you, and I believe I'm not mistaken here. I believe I'm right. He's the one that built those early great teams with JJ, with all the Argentinians and those. He was the mastermind behind those teams. And he left, and you saw the product. You saw the talented player drop. And now he's back, and now all of a sudden, you go into an offseason. I just mentioned, so far, João Vitor, he might be a hell of a player, might be a bum. We don't know yet. But so far, every player that we've brought in this offseason has been a hit. Musa is the shakiest one, but he's shown spurts at times. He's shown moments. And Lourenço Coelho and Rui Pedro Braz, Rui Costa, whomever it is, I have confidence that when it comes time to replace guys, they'll do so. I just hope that they wake up and get a striker in January. A bona fide striker.
Glenn Gomes is saying, is Brooks included in that list? Brooks was out of necessity.
Brooks was a signing when Morato gets hurt.
Yeah, we only had two center backs, dude.
Better safe than sorry. It sucks. We're Americans. We live in America. We love America, and not trying to be disrespectful to the player, but I think if Morato doesn't get hurt, Brooks is not a
He never makes it. Never makes it. Let's talk.
Oh, Ristic hasn't really played. He looked decent.
Yeah, he looked decent, but
you know what?
Not really a.
On their defense, he was a free, so I'll give him a break.
Yeah. Let's talk about Look, I think we're going a little longer because obviously we're late this week. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is today's recent news. And it was funny because Picado was saying these days breaking news starts with somebody just posting something on Twitter that's silly, then that picking up some traction because of retweets and engagements, and then all of a sudden some media outlet is picking it up, and all of a sudden it's a story. There's João Felix coming to Benfica on the loan. Number one, he's not going to be able to play Champions League ball. We already know that if he's coming for a loan.
I don't know. I was told they changed those rules.
Really?
But I haven't confirmed it.
Okay.
Yet.
But here's the thing, Cristiano, and I know that you
Because
speak-
Luis Diaz went from Porto to Liverpool last year, and he played against us. So
Yeah, I think
There's
they
gotta be
changed
Oh,
the
okay.
rules. I think they changed the
something
rules.
around
I know I
that.
talked about
What
it earlier
are-
today about that, but I think they changed the rules.
where's your meter at? You know how we used to have meters of a player staying or
foul?
playing going. Where's your meter at in terms of João Felix's return to Benfica, Cristiano?
2,
A 2 out of what?
10,
2 out of 10.
2, 3 times.
So you think it's 20? There's a 20% chance that he would
I
come.
think there's the only way he comes back is if really the player forces his way back in terms of, look, I want to go home. I'm unhappy. But look, before João Felix and George Mendes and Atletico and anybody that's making these decisions sit down and talk about this, a lot of it will depend on what he does in the World Cup. So I think he should be focusing in the World Cup. If he goes and he tears it up, there's going to be a line of people suiting up for his service, setting up for his services, lining up for his services.
Yeah, but do you even think that Nandinho is going to give him a chance to play?
You never know. You never know.
Maluco, pa.
I look.
Nandinho is worse. Is 10 times worse than Cholo.
I think it's criminal of a coach who looks down his bench and he has Rafael Leão and João Felix on the bench and he doesn't play them. I think it's criminal. I think those guys should get. And the funny part is that he should get locked up because he just beat the Portuguese authorities for millions of dollars. So that dude really should get locked up. But that's a conversation for another. Nobody talks about that in Portugal. Forget about that. The guy's just him and
that's a
the
taboo.
Presidente da
It's
Federação,
taboo
esquece.
topic.
That's taboo. But I look, if João comes in and he plays well in the World Cup, I think a lot of suitors will line up. But if not, if he doesn't, and if, I hope you're wrong, Alfredo, but if nothing doesn't give him, an opportunity, and things start to sour, I do think he wants out of Atletico. I think that's obvious.
He has
That's
to get
clear.
out of there, man.
No, but I think he wants to at this point.
Do you think
Not
that
just he has
yeah,
to. He wants to.
the
And that's the only reason why I give it a 20, because then it might be like, teams like, guys going down the Mundial, guys has been hurt. Then maybe like his options are limited. He says, look, let me just go home.
I get it.
That's the only.
I see that. I think that he would probably be very well suited for Bayern.
Oh, I want to see him at Bayern. I want to see him in England. Bayern is
You
one of
would
the
really
clubs-
do well everywhere but Atletico.
What? You would do well.
You
at
would
Atletico.
do well at everywhere but Atletico.
anywhere but Atletico.
Yeah, but look, it would be great. I think that if Benfiquistas are already trying out for the camping team, I don't know. there might be a surplus of
We need
Viagra.
more polls.
There'll be a surplus of Viagra all of a sudden because people are just walking around with boners. Can you imagine if João Felix came back for the second half of the season?
I would love to have João Felix back.
Listen,
at
what would
Benfica.
you do?
I'd buy a ticket and go watch him play. What
No, there was a guy that
I'd
said
call him up like, Joãozinho, dá uma camisola.
there was a guy
first thing I
that
would do.
said that if Weigl came to Benfica, that he would run from a place to another
I
place
can't
naked.
run today. I can't.
Would you do something? Would you do something outrageous?
That Borat Mankini is making a comeback.
No, I never look. That Borat's retired. I was right. I was 100% right. This guy never got sold for 15 mil. I think you guys owe me something. I don't know, both of you. We had to make a bet. It wasn't just a one-sided bet. It was like if he did, I dress in a Borat suit. If he didn't, you guys owe me something. I don't recall what it was.
What are we doing if João Felix comes to Benfica? Do we doing anything like embarrassing?
No, I'm going straight to WhatsApp, sending him a message. What time you land? Where do you want me to pick you up? What's up?
Yeah, man,
No,
that
but,
would be something, man.
That
I'm
would be
telling you,
phenomenal.
that'd be
But again, I
phenomenal,
don't
man.
look. Let's not.
But we were talking about a matador that
I think
Benfica needs a
Benfica-
matador.
And there's a bunch of questions because I actually posted this to about the podcast tonight at on Instagram, and there's a bunch of questions about João Felix, about player acquisitions, about that what you just said about needing a matador. I'll read one of the questions from Manny. It just says Manny. I don't know what
It's probably Manny Villadon. Oh no, that's Nick
it just
Villadon.
says. Manny. That's it. Oh, good old Manny. So
Good
yeah,
old Manny. There you go.
He's like, don't know if it's too late or not. If someone already asked this, but do you think Benfica should be looking to sign a striker in January? Obviously, of course.
Absolutely.
I personally feel that it's a missing piece to this amazing team we've got this year. Love
Yeah.
Rafa and Ramos, but I think we need some support of there. Now, look,
100%,
I think
man.
Benfica is a player away from really striking fear in opposition's hearts. and especially here in the Champions League, if Benfica gets himself some other, it doesn't matter. With the exception of Man City and
Who
Bayern
are you
Munich,
seeing out there that could?
I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know. What I'm being brutally honest because it's January. In the summer it's a little bit different. A lot more guys become available. Right now, I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to what's going on outside of Portugal. You know that lately it's just been Benfica for the most part. But I think what I'm hoping, guys, Dave and everybody listening, I'm hoping that Roger Schmidt has identified someone either in Germany or País Basque, Netherlands, whatever you want to call it nowadays, like he did with Arshness, right? There's got to be somebody that they've identified that Benfica can acquire in January that can help. See, here's the thing. To me, Benfica needs a winger and they need a striker. Another guy, Desequilibrador. I heard a rumor about Luca Orellano from Velez. That's a guy I would just be, because I believe that's closer than a João Fela. I would run with my Borat suit for that guy.
You would?
Not that João was not a better player. João was away, but I don't believe so. Like,
Dave,
I
write
don't
that
believe
down.
that's it. Lucas Orellano, I would go nuts. I would go nuts to see the guy play at Benfica. Skillful lefty, number 10. He's an absolute baller. Right? And you're going to hear a lot about that guy. 22 years old, you're going to hear a lot about him. So I would like to get somebody like that, but I want him at the door. I don't know. I really can't come up with a name. Right? But
a guy that could just walk onto the start.
It has to be a guy like Hugo mentioned, and I mentioned Vitinha. Like, it's a good call. Hugo, but I mentioned Vitinha from Braga. But my question with Vitinha, look, Benfica would have to pay 30 million.
You don't know if he's a big team player.
No, but not just that. Not just that. When he arrives at Benfica, is he that much of an upgrade over Gonçalo Ramos that he's going to sit Gonçalo Ramos? This has to be
Musa de Braga.
It has to be a legit, and this is the other thing that you have to remember. At that stage of the season, Benfica, obviously, now I think it's confirmed, right? It's no doubt about it. Benfica will still be alive in the Champions League. You can't go get a player that you don't have guarantees of.
Yeah.
You need to go get somebody that you know, even if it's, let's say you're still going to start Gonçalo Ramos today, you know that this guy's he's not going to have any adaptation problems. He's going to be a guy that's going to get the ball in the back of the net today. It can't be a guy for the future. It has to be somebody que encaixa today.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, as I said to you, I'm hoping that Roger, and I believe, forget hoping, I know he has.
He's already identified somebody.
I'm just hoping it's somebody we really like. But there's got to be somebody in Holland, in Germany, I don't know, somebody that we don't even think of, a Borussia Mönchengladbach or Leverkusen or Stuttgart, somebody that we never heard of.
Yeah, a guy that doesn't do much but score goals.
That's it.
Just like Cardoso.
Ezequiel Barco. He's back at Barcelona from Atlanta United. He's back, but now he's a winger. Benfica
Barco just played the goalie first team. I saw it on the paper. Apparently, the goalie got thrown out, and he went and played goalie, from what I understand. Yeah, that's the dude that was at Sporting, right? Ezequiel Barco?
No, man. Ezequiel Barco was Benfica was interested in him. He went to Atlanta United for $20 million.
Oh. Who was the Barco guy that played for Sporting? Maybe that's the dude. I don't know. Anyway, what are the questions?
The striker for Udinese, that's the kid Beto. Portimonense won like $40 million from Benfica for him. Beto, Nick Valladolid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, that's, I mean,
I don't know. Here's the thing with Vitinha, and everybody's been talking about Vitinha. There's players that are very suited for teams like Braga. Teams that don't have a really high degree of pressure because they're one of the top 3 teams in the country. So I don't know, but the kid has shown a lot of promise.
Yeah, but see, I think a guy like that is a summer acquisition.
Yeah, we need to have somebody guaranteed,
man. You know, by
guaranteed that walks into the lineup and he's a starter.
Yo, Dirty Diggers is asking.
Dirty Diggers, nice.
Will Juve be able to upset PSG so Benfica has a chance to come out first from the group?
It's the only chance to get to the Europa League
for Juve.
If Juve doesn't beat PSG, they could forget they could forget the Europa League.
And even if they beat them, they gotta hope Benfica don't lose by 5.
Yeah,
like that, they'd have a goal difference against the opposition, I believe.
Yep.
So.
Stick it to Kanye.
Look, talking about investment, talking about acquisitions. I'm just looking here at the Capa da Bola, tonight's Capa da Bola. It says, a missão pode levar a corrigir desequilíbrios no plantel. Rui Costa aberto a investir na equipa em janeiro.
Yeah, now you got all that Champions League money. That's huge. What was it, like 59 million this
So far,
season already?
58 or so.
So far this season, yeah.
That's crazy money.
So far.
So, and here's the thing, right? You're playing the league. You're in the round of 16. How appealing is that for a player that might be on a fringe that Benfica could try out in terms of trying to lure a player like that? Champions League play, round of 16. Team plays quality soccer. Good coach, good group. I mean, that's very appealing for a player like João Felix, if you ask me. But I'm saying, I'm just using João Felix as an example because I don't know who else is out there in João Felix's in the situation or in the same boat. But certainly. Anyway, let's wrap this up. It's been fun. It's 11:45 here, East Coast.
Dude, I love. Look, Glenn Gomes says if we lose, if we were to lose, Odysseus Blocadimus to Ajax, there's been rumors that they're gonna come back for him in January, but I don't see why Benfica would sell him now. Obviously, going through the Champions League, you don't want to mess with the chemistry unless you get yourself.
I like Kevin
Jesus
Trapp.
Navas. That's a clear. That'd be a clear upgrade. But
I like
it
Trapp.
says if we were to lose, would Benfica, go after Kevin Trapp? I mean, come on, that'd be a fantastic sign.
Yeah, I like Kevin Trapp. I think that Kevin Trapp is a really good goalie. He's American, right?
No, German.
Kevin
He's
Trapp
German.
he's German?
Yep.
Why did I think he was American?
Because he's got an American name, Kevin Trapp. You just fell into the trap.
I sure did. Anyway, Dave, you got anything else to say? You're a little more calmer.
No, I've been trying to see what kind of strikers are available here, and Bas Dos is tearing up the Dutch league there. So there's your
Bas
Dutch
Dost and
talent.
That's what you
center.
need. You need a player like that. One touch goal. Boom. Goal. Every
Yeah,
time.
look, we don't need anybody flashy. We just need
Red
guys
Baron
that
says
can-
this guy's not flashy at all. Red Baron says doesn't CR7 want to play in the Champions League?
Fuck that guy.
Epá, havia circus esta aí de luz. I mean,
É, pá, não me fales desse gajo, pá.
I could sell my tickets to the games for a real high price. Hey, pá, deflated the air. Hey, pá,
I
deflated
just,
the balloon.
I had, I don't know. Anyway,
There's only one Cristiano when
That's
he's
right.
here on the Benfica podcast.
let's rock out of here. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. Sorry for being late this week, but we made it up with some more time. Thank you very mucho. Dave, always a pleasure. Cristiano, always a pleasure. Take it easy, everybody. Later.